Good evening, everybody. I'm out in the grow room this afternoon, or I should say afternoon, everybody. I'm looking at all the growths I have. Just so many big growths popping out. I've got hungry plants with shoots coming out, new growths coming out, still growing on some of the other ones. More new shoots with spikes on top of that. Big canes growing. Just shoots all over the place. More growths. A couple succulents there. Lots of roots growing. New growths. Look at the dendrobium back there. All the shoots coming out of the dendrobium. Just wild. And blooms. So I've got lots going on, and I've got hungry plants. And they haven't had a really good balanced nutrition, so I need to up my game a little bit here. So today, and I don't have the 15-5-15, that didn't work out. No big deal, we're going to move on. I don't want to keep using the Better Grow because it lacks calcium and magnesium. So we're going to mix our own today. I'm going to take you out in the shop here in a minute. And it's a little bit of a trek to get over there, so or get out there and get over to the table. So I'm going to black out the screen here for a second. Everybody bear with me. I'm going to go out there and mix something up. I'm not saying this is the best way to do it or the only way to do it. This is just my method. This is just how I'm going to do it today. I'm going to show a couple of different ways over the next week or so. I'll show a couple of different ways to mix up some different types of nutrients that are very easy to get. Not necessarily the, if you want to get hydroponic nutrients, go to a hydro store and buy some stuff. You can mix your own. You can kind of cater your own mix if you want to. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing and how I'm going to do it. So anyway, hang on. I'm going to run us over the shop for just a second, okay? Just hang on, it's just easier this way. And I'll be honest, I don't want to show my entire shop to everybody. It's a mess, and it's also private. All right, anyway. All right, I suggest you go to like Todd's Tropicals, and he showed a video he did a week or so ago on he went to a hydro store in his area down in Florida. There's a bunch of nutrients right here that you can pick up at most hydro stores. This is excuse me. That's a bloom supplement. General Hydroponics 01010. That's a General Hydroponics Cal Mag, and that's Advanced Nutrients Micros. This is our nitrogen source. This is 501 and micronutrients. So this is going to be our nitrogen source. This is going to be our P and our K source, 01010, and this is going to be our calcium and magnesium source. Now there's another way you can do this using calcium nitrate, 5-12-26, or some other type of mix, dry mix, and magnesium sulfate or Epsom salts. That's another mix right here, and we'll show that one at a later date. And you can do that also, and I've used that on my orchids before too, and it works really well. But today we're going to concentrate on these. These are very inexpensive, easy to get, and they last you for a long time. You can mix up thousands of gallons with this, it seems like. If you get this and you've got less than 25 orchids, these will last you for years, all right? And it doesn't cost that much. So for the investment, what this will cost you to get this right here will cost you about the same it would for any type of pound of any other type of fertilizer. And this will last you a whole lot longer. Anyway, the other great thing about this is, one, these are chelated, so you don't have to worry about calcium being absorbed around 5.8 normally. You don't have to worry about it because it's bound, or what they call chelated. It's bound to a metal typically, or a mineral, typically like aluminum or iron maybe, and I think this one's iron in here. It allows them to be absorbed instead of having to go down to 5.8 for your calcium. You can go down to, it can be absorbed in the low 6s, mid 6s, up around where iron is typically, or magnesium typically. Micronutrients, and again, these are all chelated also, so they're going to be absorbed at those same pH ranges. You don't have to drop your pH or change your pH quite so much to chase these. Cool Bloom, the same thing, is chelated, so these are all going to work anywhere between 6 and 7 pH. As long as I'm in the low to mid 6s, I'm probably going to be great with this stuff, all right? But something to think about. This is almost pure nitrate form. This is calcium nitrate, I think is 501, so I think it's around 4.8% nitrate and like 0.2% ammonium. So it's almost all nitrate. It means it's going to be absorbed very readily, very easily by the plants. So it's very easy to burn plants up with this stuff as well. So start out with low doses, watch your plants, and adjust your dose and move up from there based on how your plants are reacting to it, okay? Again, this is not the only way to do this, or the right way to do this, or the wrong way to do this. This is my way to do this, okay? This is how I'm going to do it. And maybe this will help somebody. I don't know. I've got some snow water over here. It's been sitting in my rain barrel for a week. And it's probably picked up a couple of parts. But we'll start right there. And we're at 8. Okay? So we're at 8 parts per million. I'm not going to worry about the pH. I checked the pH earlier, and the pH is 6.7, 6.8. These nutrients will drop your pH, but they're not going to drop their nutrients. These are not going to drop your pH a massive amount. They're going to drop it, and because they're designed to work with RO water typically, or pure water, which is around 7, they're designed to drop it, 5 or 6 points. So you're going to get down to the low 6s with most of this, all right? Depending on how much you're using it too. So if you go a little bit low, you can use a little pinch of baking soda to bring it back up with, sodium bicarbonate, or if you still don't think you're down low enough, you can use a little citric acid to drop it down even lower. Use citric acid and baking soda and things of that nature. pH up, pH down. Make sure those are very tiny amounts of your total mix design. You have to take into account that the ppms that come from that also when you're mixing up a design. Okay, we're not going to use anything like that today. We're not going to need to. We've got chelated nutrients, and we've got some really nice soft rainwater. So here's what we're going to do. Let me grab a pencil here, and I hope y'all can read my shaky writing. We know our rainwater is at 8, so we're going to round it off just for numbers' sake today. We're going to round things off so we can do it easier. So we've got 10, and that's our rainwater. I don't know if everybody can see that or not. Okay, we got 10, that's our rainwater. All right. We're going to start with calcium magnesia. Typically in mixes, magnesium accounts for anywhere from like 2 to 6%, and calcium may be anywhere from 3 to 8% of the mix. So for today, we're going to come up with we're going to use 7 for calcium and 3 for magnesium, because again it's a 10, and that's what we're looking for. So we're going to be looking around for 10 of that, 10 parts per million of that, and I think that's fine in a low dose mix like this. For about every 100 parts per million, I'll add about 10. You could go to 15 parts per million on this, and that's typically if we're looking for 10% of the mix, and we're trying to come up with a mix of around, I probably should have started with that, 165 parts per million total, somewhere around there, let's say, give or take. So if we're looking for that, and 10% of that's going to be 16, or let's say, again, we're rounding off to 5s at 15. So let's say we're going to go 15 of CalMag. So let's 15 parts per million of CalMag, okay? Now, we've got nitrogen, we've got phosphorus. I want to drop these up to have a, there's our P and K. I want 70% on my nitrogen, which is going to leave 30% on my P and K. So at 165, well actually I'm already at 165, I'm going to come off that 25, so I'm going to be, let's say 140 times 0.70, which is 98. Again, we're going to round it, so I'm going to go 100 parts per million. And that's going to be my N in my micros, okay? Which is going to leave 30. Oh, we're going to go ahead and leave the remainder of that. I'm going to go ahead and leave the remainder of that. So that's going to be, we're not going to use 30. We should be able to go 40 on that if we're going to bump it around 65. So, and that's going to be my P and K. And we should end up with 165. I did that right. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. That's our rainwater. We've got some calcium, magnesium in there. We've got our nitrogen and micros, and we've got a smaller amount of phosphorus and potassium. Okay, P and K. Anyway, that's how I'm going to start with doing it. Now let me. I'm going to move this over so everybody can see this a little bit better. I've got my nutrients sitting here, and I've got some rainwater sitting here, and my pipette, so I can do this easier. I shook all these real good earlier, but you want to make sure you shake them all really, really good. And I use a pipette to do this because it's just easier to measure them this way. I'm going to keep checking in my screen here. My apologies, because I don't know if people want to see this or not. I don't know. Anyway, this is what I'm going to do. I've got something to stir with, and I've got my meters right here. So I'm going to start with my CalMag. I've got 8%, or I've got 8 parts per million water right there now to start with. So I wanted to end up with looking at my paper here, After the CalMag, I should be around 25. 10 of my rainwater, 15 of CalMag, so I'm looking to bump this up to around 25 parts per million with my CalMag. And this is why I use a pipette, because I can go just a few drops at a time, something like that. I've got about 3 gallons of rainwater, or snow melt, like I said here, rainwater. And it doesn't take a lot. You see how little I used of that, just a, might have been, I don't know, half a milliliter maybe. And then I'm going to check it. Until you know exactly how your water is going to react and how your stuff works, I'm at 18. So I added 10 to it. That added 10 to it. If you go over a couple of points, it's not going to hurt. We're feeding low amounts. If you go over a couple of points, it won't hurt. If you're under a couple of points, it won't hurt, because we're feeding low amounts. That ought to get us real close. We're at 0. And either my battery's going to go dead or 27. We'll take that. All right. All right. Now our second part's going to be micros. We want to add 100 parts of this. So we want to end up around 125. So I'm going to bump this to 125. And again, until you know how they're going to, I need to rinse that real good. That's what I have the rainwater for. I know this is slow, but it seems kind of crazy to do it this way, but this is very simple, easy to do. Once you've done this a couple times, you can track keep track of how many milliliters you're using, and that way you know if I got 3 gallons of water, I can use this, this, and this, and I can hit my number pretty close. I'm not doing that today. I probably should, but I'm not. That brought this to around 50. I really think I'm going to use a couple more drops. These nutrients are not expensive. They're available at any hydro store. Like I said on Todd's Tropicals, his video that he showed, he was showing a nice store. They should have dozens and dozens of different varieties of those nutrients available. We're at 72 now, so we've got to bump it up about another 50. I don't think we're there yet. Again, like I said, if I go over a couple of points, it's not going to hurt, because I'm feeding low amounts. I like to feed low amounts to the orchid all the time. I never ever get root burn that way. I never get root burn, and I just seem to get growth. And that's what we're trying to do anyway, right? So I'm at 100. Sorry it's taking so long. And you could pretty much tell what I'm trying to do here. You can let this sit if you want to when you're finished with it. You can let it sit if you want to for a little while and then recheck your numbers again. Shouldn't be a problem though. Or you can use it straight up because it's such a low amount again. Not going to hurt. I'm at 122. We're going to leave it at that. So we can add the rest of this is going to be going in P&K. And again, that'll burn. We're looking for around 165 parts per million or so. That's not going to hurt. Again, once you get used to using them, you'll know how much you can add and get away with, or how much you can't put in there without going way over your amount. Hopefully I didn't do it here. I'm at 160. All right, and we can stop there. I don't need to worry about the pH, like I said, because it should all be up down the low to mid 6s, and that's fine. Anyway, I've got 165 parts per million. I know what's in it. It's got calcium, it's got magnesium, it's got 70% nitrogen with micros in it, and it's got 40% or 30% of P and K in it. And our ratios, those ratios are just more or less the percentage of what we're adding of the bottled nutrients, not percentage of the calcium or the nitrogen or the P and the K in those values. But working with the nutrients, that's kind of the ratio I like to keep it at. Now, when I go with a hydroponic mix like the 5-12-26 granular with the calcium nitrate and Epsom salts, I'm going to change that completely because you get so much calcium and such a high dose of nitrogen with that mix. 1500 is so much stronger. We're still going to keep in our 160 parts per million range, but we're going to be adding that in a whole completely different matter of amounts, completely different. So, and there's a couple of different ways to do this. So, anyway, that's all there is to this. It's just that simple. The only thing left to add is I wish everybody, every one of my wonderful viewers, I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I want you all to know how much you mean to me, how much you've meant to me this past summer and this past fall so far. And I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to continue to do this for a little bit longer. Anyway, again, thank you so much for all the kind words, the wonderful support, the beautiful messages, and all the thoughts and prayers. Have a wonderful Christmas, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.